How's it going, everybody? My name is Dylan, and you're watching Whiskey Wednesday. Remember to drink responsibly and in moderation. In this first episode, we're going to be talking about whiskey etiquette. Basically, what it means is the proper way of drinking whiskey. Yeah, some of you may say, like, oh, I just pour it in a glass and drink from it. Yeah, that's okay with, certain kinds of whiskeys, like Jack Daniels, Jameson, Fireball, just that regular, kind of mid-tier shelf whiskey. But I'm more focusing on the single malt stuff. And to describe it, it's basically like this. So whiskeys come in two varieties. Single, meaning it's made from a single malt. It's got a very unique flavor just to that. And then you've got a blended, which means it's blended from a multitude of other single malts to make it. Now, generally speaking, the rule of thumb is when you drink a single malt, you drink it by itself. You don't mix it into a Coke, you don't mix it into anything. That is the generally rule that you don't break. Blended whiskeys, you can mix into other drinks. You can put your Jack and Coke, whiskey, and whatever else you can think of. A Manhattan, I think, uses whiskey. I don't know. I've never had one. But anyways, I'm going to teach you the proper way of drinking it. So we're going to be using my Talisker 10 years. First off, get yourself a nice tumbler. Don't use your wife's wine glasses and don't use your kid's sippy cup. That's just without saying. Take it. And what I like to do is I like to put my two fingers right here at the bottom, from where the base and the actual part that you start filling it into is. The reason I do this is because generally when you drink it, and I'm talking about this when you're at home because you're not going to be paying, unless you can afford it, this would probably cost you about close to like $50 probably, just to have this much worth of whiskey. Well, anyways, you have 2 fingers worth is the generally accepted rule of drinking it in moderation. Now, some may say, oh, that's over more than 1.5 ounces. Yeah, well, you know what? This isn't meant to be drunk right away. This is meant to be sipped over a period of time. Not so long that it starts evaporating, but, within at least, I would have to say, 1.5 hours, give or take. And generally speaking also, with your scotches and your single malts, unless it's a rye whiskey, no ice. I find that ice, for the most part, dilutes the smell of it. It gets rid of the flavor. It kills it, really. Now, if you want to have your whiskey cold, what I do is I keep one of these in the freezer. Keeps it nice and chilled. It will chill my whiskey as much as I need be. And guess what? It doesn't kill the flavor or taste. Or even the smell, too, because this right here has got an amazing smell of, oh my god, it smells amazing. But I'm going to be talking about this at a later point in time. Well, anyways, back to basic etiquette. Now, if you want to have it with a little bit of water, understandable. I recommend starting off with a spoonful of water, just to start off with. That will help at least, dilute it a little bit, because sometimes whiskeys can be a little bit too strong. They can be very overwhelming, especially the single malts, because it is just that one flavor and it can overpower you and it can really just like bam to you. I, however, have yet to meet one of those whiskeys. But back to drinking it. You can look. I always like to admire my whiskey too. I know it sounds kind of cliche and, snobbish to do it, but I don't know. I just like enjoying a good glass of whiskey and sitting back and just staring at it. Next, I always love to smell it. Man, nothing beats a good Scotch whiskey. It generally has a very unique flavor per thing. Another thing too though is, and I forgot to mention this first, always have either your pinky, or if you want, have 2 fingers on the bottom. I like to do it this way because it gives me more control over it. Because let's say if I am drinking my chilled glass, well guess what? It's going to start getting wet on the side and then it starts slipping and you're going to break a glass and you're going to waste some whiskey that way. That's why I never hold it like this. It doesn't feel comfortable to me to hold it like this. So if you ever catch me holding it, I usually have my index and pinky right there. For some reason that works too. Never this. Always do it like this or like this. And now your initial taste. Nothing beats that. Oh, you see, you're not gonna, like I said before, you're not gonna be throwing down shots of this. If you do that, I hate you pretty much. Suffice to say, Jameson you can, because this is just, Jameson. It's kind of meant for that, really. I mean, you can do both with it because it is a good whiskey. Don't get me wrong. It's just that this is at least 2 to maybe even 4 times more expensive than what this can be sold for. So that's why I'm always like, do I really want to just slam back my expensive stuff, or do I want to savor it? Which that's the point of whiskey. You're meant to savor it. It's meant to be enjoyed. I mean, if you're gonna go and get drunk off of it, go do it with Jack Daniels, Fireball, Jim Beam, stuff like that. That I'm like, okay, you're gonna get drunk that way, by all means do it. But don't drink and drive. Can't stress that enough. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this video. And I hope you all take some of these lessons I gave to you. So, remember, drink responsibly and in moderation. Cheers.